Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very interesting news when it comes to the PlayStation 5, Xbox, GPU, and all that good old semiconductor talk, because we actually have some interesting things from the Senate. So basically the government's actually doing and passing a few different bills that actually do heavily affect things like the PlayStations, Xbox, computers, and all that good stuff, such as cars as well, because a lot of it also goes and comes down to the semiconductor. So we're talking about that all throughout this, because this in theory is very good news and very exciting news. But of course, whenever you kind of see this kind of news floating around, it does take a little bit of time to go and start taking effect. So I want to go talk about this, tell you guys all the good news about this, and kind of see what the future, maybe even throughout the next 2 or 3 years, might also go and entail as well. So hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. As well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the PS5 giveaway. We have the Amazon links down below for controllers, consoles, like Ratchet and Clank, literally everything at this point. We have everything down below. As well, we also do want to go maybe reach out to one of my friends that works over on Amazon to go and see if we actually do see any stock available for the PS5s as well. I'm going to try my best to get actually a lot of good information all throughout this entire weekend, so be on the lookout for that. We also do have the Twitter and Twitch stream link down below if you guys want to follow, the Linktree link for bonus entries for the giveaway, and of course the Weeble. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100. You guys go get free stack and free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin, and let's go dive in the video. So, as I mentioned, this actually overall, in theory, should be extremely good news. So to kind of give you guys the rundown, the Senate did go and end up actually passing the $250 billion U.S. Innovation and Competition Act, which basically goes and pertains to a lot of stuff we're going to talk about throughout this video. And once again, that's just some very good news as well when it comes to the PS5 and Xbox stuff. Now, as I kind of mentioned at the very start of the video, it does take a little bit of time to, of course, make things, build factories, incentivize local areas, tax cuts, whatever it is, because we actually already have some semiconductor plants here in America. But this is overall a really good thing, because if you can go and make more domestic stuff, like things just for America, in America, that does kind of incentivize a lot of things to be made, produced, and developed here, and also should, in theory, help out a lot of things that the PlayStation and Xboxes too as well. So let's go talk about this, talk about the bill, and talk about everything all floating around over here. So, and also, of course, who would have thought we'd be learning about politics while trying to go find our consoles, right? So, basically, we have this over here, which basically do have a confirmation over here that the Senate did go and pass one of the largest industrial bills in the U.S. history in a bipartisan, which just means like everyone supports it, effort to ensure the U.S. remains competitive with China as one of the globe's technological powerhouses. Because as you guys know, a lot of things are developed overseas. A lot of kind of like why there's a little bit of big issues right now with all the semiconductors, the PS5s and Xboxes, etc. Because a lot of the actual chip factories are just not domestic, and basically they're overrun because every country needs it, even their own countries. So it leads to a lot of issues. The bill, which passed the chamber of 6832, commits roughly $250 billion in funding for scientific research, subsidies for chip makers, especially as kind of like the major focus right there, and robot makers, and an overhaul of the National Science Foundation. The scope of the bill, the final product of at least 6 Senate committees and almost all members of the chamber, reflects the many fronts of the U.S.-China rivalry. So basically kind of the overall run on that, we'll probably talk about another article really quick too as well. But basically the whole major thing is we need semiconductors. Pretty much everyone on the entire planet needs it, whether it's for them producing stuff, making laptops, making cars, making PS5s, Xboxes, whatever it is. And as I mentioned, we actually have had a very big issue when it comes to supplying and making of these semiconductors. And that's kind of the downright, pretty much the main reason why we are in such like a PS5 or Xbox rut, and why it's so hard for us to find things like cars and everything, because we just don't have enough display drivers. We don't have enough also semiconductors being made. So kind of the whole idea for this, we saw this bill maybe like proposed maybe like a few months back, where they want to start either making more semiconductor factories here in America and basically go and supply out these people, as we mentioned over here, for like tax subsidies or give them basically like grants or all that stuff to incentivize them to make factories and build factories, because it does provide more jobs for people. So people, it basically gives people jobs for making the factories and also people then working at the factories. But as well, then it also goes and increases our own like GDP, because we actually have more people out there working and making things, and also means that we have more business businesses selling things, because some of the really big semiconductor factories out there are making a lot of money, especially right now with this actual pandemic. So what does this kind of mean for the PS5 and Xboxes? So in all true honesty, it does kind of seem like this is going to be a good, like, you know, midterm solution. Mainly, I would probably say it's more so effects if it's maybe like a year from now, 2 years from now, etc. Which some of you guys actually might still be looking for PlayStations. Hopefully not, like ideally not, but more so for like the long-term issues with this. That will definitely probably go help out for sure. But as well, it's also good for maybe like the second mid-gen. Think like a PS5 Slim, PS5 Pro, or even things like, you know, like a Switch Pro, etc. Or the next-gen Xboxes as well, like the Xbox XXSZS. The Xbox always has the weirdest names. So it's overall really good because it's just making more things domestically and kind of going from there. But at least we are seeing the Senate and the government focusing on like kind of big important things like such as tech, and they realize that some other major regions like in China, Japan, etc. just have such a really big foothold on all this stuff, and it's just, well, not good. So we also have another article over here too as well, kind of talking about what this actually is, and kind of just to do a little bit more over here on this, just like really quick touch on over here. So basically the legislation called the U.S. Innovation and Competition Act aims to confront China's influence on multiple fronts, and according to Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, will supercharge America innovation and preserve our competitive edge for generations to come. And then another one here too as well, among the bill's provisions, it requires iron, steel, manufactured products, and construction materials used in federally funded infrastructure products to be produced in the United States. A similar bill was announced in the House last month, but has not been voted upon. The U.S. Innovation and Competition Act will now need to be passed in the House to advance to President Biden's desk. So I want to talk about this too as well. So as I mentioned, we actually do have some semiconductor plants here in America, and this actually might be really good news too as well. So here's kind of like the bigger thing, or like why it's even a bigger thing for the PS5 or Xboxes. Because they're already domestic, this actually may go and provide tax like basically like tax deductions, like subsidiaries, etc., for them to go and make more domestic chips here in America. And that actually could maybe be really good if, like, say Sony or Microsoft actually maybe gets in contact with them to help them go and supply and maintain more of their actual chips. Because if they're already incentivized to go and maybe make them and sell them for American-grown companies, it might be really good for places like Sony America, because they do have their own American subsidiaries, to be able to go and buy and scoop up all these brand new semiconductors, display drivers, and all the stuff being made from the places already in America. And that's actually even better news instead of actually having to build and make new factories and wait like 2 or 3 years. So this actually might be extremely good news for the short term as well. So, I mean, like long term, it's going to take a while, of course, as I mentioned, to get everything passed, divvy out the funds, you know, actually build literal factories. But as I mentioned, since we already do have domestic semiconductor products, if we do have all these major places like Sony, Microsoft, all these places like kind of homegrown American businesses, I know some places like Sony are also based in Japan, but like I'm saying, they have like Sony America. This actually could go and like allow them to go and have like really good trade deals within their own domestic products, and basically have a chance to get even more semiconductors for all their products. Same things too as well for places like Tesla, where they need to go and actually have more like, you know, semiconductors too as well. They might actually have a little bit more extra leverage, such as like, you know, with Ford, etc., because they're all American-based companies, and they can basically go from the government themselves providing subsidiaries and tax breaks, go and help them go and make stuff. So in theory, all this stuff should be really good for all these PS5 and Xbox consoles, whether it's just for the short term with the theory I just mentioned, which actually does make a lot of sense, I would say, and as well for maybe like mid-tier as well, like a year from now, 2 years from now, if any of us are still trying to go find GPUs or consoles or whatever, which ideally, as I mentioned, hopefully we don't have to wait that long for us to have to go get our consoles, then theoretically it should be all good to go for everyone. So this is actually some really good news that it did go and pass, and I think it's good for short term, good for mid-term, and good for long term, especially because as the world keeps evolving into a more technological world, it just seems a lot better, more useful. It's just good to go and see. Now, it's not also fully passed as of right now, but with bipartisan support, it does seem like it's gonna be very likely. And as I mentioned before too as well, this should be really good for PS5 restocks, although a little bit more in the future as well. Same thing with the Xbox. Once again, it'll be in the future, but at least it's cool. At least we are seeing that there's issues being trying their best to be resolved, and these are just hard issues overall. Like, we've been in this pandemic now for what, a year? We've been doing PS5 restocks for 6 months. Realistically, if we can set up something in 9 months or a year, if they kind of fast rushed it, that actually might go and save a lot of people out there when it comes to the PS5 turmoils, and maybe even make it so PlayStation 5s can start getting in stock in stores a lot faster. But I think that if anything, the major thing for this will probably be on GPU lines and phones, because we do get those every year, or, you know, every other year, depending on the company itself. And I think, if anything, that is going to probably be one of the better restock things we'll have to be focused on. And I'm sure a lot of people out there are still trying to get your GPUs and consoles, controllers, and all of that stuff. I'm sure this will be some very nice news. Same thing with cars, too, as well. So there's good news for everything. Like, this is all around good news. So that's about it for this video. Just kind of keep you guys up to date with, I guess, your local government commentator here, I guess, at this point. But I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on if you guys are trying to get your GPUs, PS5s, Xboxes, or whatever. We also do have the Twitter and Twitch stream link down below if you guys want to follow. Make sure you guys are also subbed for the giveaway with the Linktree links down below for bonus entries. Amazon links down below for controllers, consoles, all of that good stuff. The Weeble as well. Sign up for Weeble. Deposit $100. You guys go get free stack and free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin. Those are always linked down below. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys up on the next video. Love you guys.